The 1947 movie Nightmare Alley is being rebirthed thanks to director Guillermo del Toro. We'll touch on a few key topics about the film. First, we'll get the inside scoop with Bradley Cooper on his character Stanton Carlisle. Afterwards, we'll catch up with Cate Blanchett, who plays Lilith Ritter. Next, we'll be going behind the scenes of just how crucial some vintage watches were for the real cast. Then, we catch up with the director, who reveals some of his top film inspirations for the movie. Lastly, we touch on how the director wanted the movie to stand out from films made today. Firstly, let's take a look at Bradley Cooper on playing Stan Carlisle. The movie star opens up on his role as Stan Carlisle and how some similarities between the two are too close for comfort. Bradley admitted in an interview that playing the character already had its challenges, like how we don't even come to know the full Stan right off the bat. His character develops over time throughout the movie until we see him for who he really is towards the end. Although Stan is a fictional character, Bradley felt an eerie relation with him, claiming there were parallels between the two. He also relates to the fictional character, saying just as Stan is coming into himself, he too is coming to find himself. Stan, a con artist, finds his way into the carny business and gains knowledge that'll one day take him to the big city, conning the rich while also still looking for ways to improve and prolong his craft. He meets Dr. Lilith Ritter. The psychologist has information on patients that Stan needs for his craft. What would Carlisle have to gain from notes and records of patients? Well, cunning and smart as he is, he devises a plan in which he'll seem like a mind reader. He figures if he studies up on the patient's notes when approaching them in the streets doing his daily conning, he'll come off as a mind reader because he has in fact done the reading on them himself. All thanks to the information he's able to gather up from Dr. Ritter. Be warned, don't let his charm fool you because he is nothing what he seems to be. Now, Cate Blanchett to star as Lilith Ritter. The director has attention to detail with a lot of things in this film, and one being his portrayal of Lilith. Set in the 1930s, he wanted to get the role right, wanting her to channel the classic era of Hollywood. The seductive and sharp man is able to psychoanalyze Stan, revealing some dangerous truths about him. Like many, she has a dark past of her own she's trying to avenge. Her as Stan's right-hand gal are a manipulating and toxic pair, even if neither knows it yet. On the outside, Ritter seems to be a successful psychologist with a wealthy clientele under her belt, but in actuality is nothing but a scheming psychopath at heart. Tensions will soon reach an all-time high when she and Stan clash. It'll be a head-to-head feud that will reveal who outwits the other. Underneath Stan's facade is a broken man who Lilith feels she can maneuver around and potentially take down. Cate reveals a little backstory as to how her and co-star Bradley got inspiration to get into character. Watching a few of the director's top inspirational movies, she says they would sit and watch and take away ideas they were to bring to their characters. Not to mention, the Pan Am era hairstyle suits her. Next, vintage watch designs and their integral part with the film. Detail, detail, detail. Director Guillermo del Toro talks about how it was so important to him to get the watches right. Compared to watches made today, which are often bulky, the ones from back then were often much smaller. The first watch we see in the movie is Stan's, a 14-karat gold Hamilton Hastings, a style that was introduced in the 1920s. Due to the future scenes, the crew had a couple backup watches in case the watch were to take a nasty fall during filming. It's different from the IWC watches that Cooper is used to wearing, being an ambassador for since 2018. The watch that Stan wears upon entering the circus is one said to belong to his late father, and that it's the only valuable thing he owns at first. Then we move on to Dr. Lilith's watch, which is a timeless new copy of a watch from the 30s. The T101TL is a gold-plated model in which the director thought best to give her the men's model, claiming that the watch would pop more on screen. Like done for Bradley, a few other originals remained as backup in case the original was damaged during shooting. No originals were found by the team as they searched for backups of the classic watch Dr. Ritter wears, but resorted to replicas. Lastly, Miss Mara, a lady who Stan encounters while at the carny and becomes his partner in crime, models a vintage piece as well. She can be seen sporting a Lady Hamilton vintage quartz, a contemporary watch that also has some significance in the movie. Up next, director Guillermo del Toro reveals 5 films that helped with inspiring the movie. It's been said that the director has more knowledge about movies than anyone else could learn in their lifetime, and it proves to be true as he speaks on his inspirations from many films. One movie he loved so much that he referenced it subtly in Shape of Water is Fallen Angel, a piece in which he shares a deep connection with. He draws from the psychic element it brings. Next, he gets an idea for Nightmare Alley from the movie Detour, a scene in which Tom uses a phone cord as a weapon. The scene is mimicked by Lilith and Stan. In addition to getting physical, a film that stuck with Guillermo as one with some of the most violent murders is Born to Kill. Much like Lilith and Stan, the two characters in Born to Kill share a toxic trait where they both bring out the worst in each other. The director was so set on applying that same energy to their characters, they watched and took note of the film. Another film which the director took away from was Nightfall. He describes the cinema as horror revolutionized, yet full of menace and elegance. He wanted to take away the gritty dialogue and deliver it in a way that was believable and authentic. The movie Nightfall gives good dialect while it also has deep empathy for outcasts, an aspect that was important to Guillermo when shaping the characters in Nightmare Alley. He wants to create an on-screen nightmare. His other films have an out-of-this-world way about them, and he continues that same quality in this one. Now for the inside scoop, how director wanted Nightmare Alley to stand out. At the opening scene, Stan is seen walking away from a burning house that may be in reference to Days of Heaven. In addition, the carnival is called Ambersons, which could be referencing the Magnificent Ambersons. Not many Easter eggs are known, but boy does Guillermo paint a picture with his film-taking abilities. His knack for mixing worlds all while there being truth to the realities. He studied language for the time period in attempts to make this a timeless classic like ones that aren't made anymore. Guillermo aimed to place Bradley Cooper at the center of everything, just as you would with a movie star from the 30s. Cate Blanchett is done up to resemble a Pan Am woman, much like the hairstyle seen during the time period. The director's passion for bringing unearthly qualities to characters to life and envisioning ways to deliver the material are phenomenal. He aims to stand apart from the films that are made today. He wants every aspect to be as real as possible. He claims it's a cinematic style that should be celebrated. The director has also produced projects such as The Shape of Water and Pacific Rim. So we aim to see the same style of romance, mixed with dark and gritty. So how much of the 1940s classic can we see relayed in the new film to come? We'll get our answer later this month when the highly anticipated movie drops. Bradley Cooper and Cate Blanchett are total eye candy on screen that has fans already intrigued about the relationship they share throughout the movie. What kind of dynamic will the two bring to the big screen? The eerie tale that is said to be the opposite of the American dream tells the backstory of a lost man coming to find his way. In another world, cheating his way to the top. The conning couple are set to con the rich, but could there be flaws in their plan? What other co-stars can we encounter on their mission? And as the director promises, will the film give us a breath of fresh air and stand out from pieces we see today? From pieces